Okay, now we're in the integer division and factoring. And if you recall, we did the first section already, that basic, arithmetic, order of operations, exponents, taking square roots. Now we're on to this integer division and factoring. All right, so this sort of things are going to differ somewhat from your use of a calculator. I want to launch Sage, but someone's going to say, how are you going to do that? Are you going to do the same thing you did in the first section? I'm going to do it differently this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the terminal. I'm not going to go to the Finder to launch Sage. I'm going to go to the terminal. Whoops. I'm going to create a new window. And this is my terminal, right? So yeah, basically, what you could do is look around, blah, 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 clear. You should have some facility with using the terminal. But what I want to do is I want to use my up arrow. At one point I want to do that, prior commands pop up. So I used clear just previously. I used the ls previously. And the last thing before that I did was I launched Sage from the command line. And this command is there. When I use it so often, it's usually it's just usually there for me. I don't have to retype it. All right. And then all you do is hit return. All right. That's going to launch Sage for me. Of course, let's go over this. And talking about this over here. One thing you want to do is certainly read, but try to understand what you've read by taking the examples they're giving you. So 256. Now if I did the divide by 6, it reduces it, right? Kind of reasonable. But if I went back over here and I did the double slash, right? 256 divide by 97. I just noticed I made a mistake there. I was wondering why it was different. It says it's 2. Now what does that mean? It means that 256 divided by 97, that 97 goes into 256 twice. All right, let's look at the next one. And the next one is that percent symbol. Let's see what that does. And that gives me the remainder. After you divide 256 by 97, it goes in twice, but the remainder would be 62. Now, if you want both, use div mod. Div mod. That's 256, 97. Oops, sorry about that. I did a mistake again. All right. Again, 256 divided by 97. It goes in there twice with a remainder of 62. All right. Here's another command. This is very typical of Sage. It's Python-like. 3 divides, D-I-V-I-D-E-S, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is either going to be yes it can or no it can't. So true or false. All right. See what happens. True. Now certainly you probably know a lot about divisibility rules. You'll certainly have to divide by 2, divide by 5, divide by 3, so forth and so on. Let's try the next one. Oh, you type that in. Let's keep going. Let's do divisors. And again, it's very Python-like. All right. Divisors. Oops. 125 first, right? And when you're typing things, you should think about, the outcome after you type something and what it's going to give you back. So it said the divisors of 125 are 1, 5, 25, and 125. All right. Is prime. That's an interesting one. Let's type that in. 2 to the 521 minus 1. And the question is it prime? Now, to do this by hand would be quite difficult. The machine is going to do that. Come back as true. All right, I'm going to do something that I'm going to encourage you to do as well, is copy paste. He says it's false. Now you can play around with that. False again. Let's try something we know is going to be not prime. Oh, that's not prime, certainly. Let's try another one. Let's see if we can stumble upon something. Tough one, huh? There you go. I found a prime number. It's prime. All right. Let's keep going. Let's do the factor. All right. Let's see what happens there. 6743 dot factor. And it factors a number for me. All right. You get the idea. Prime factors. Let's do that. I'm going to do a copy paste. And again, think about the output when you're doing this. All right. Think about the output when you're doing this. Let's clear this. And I want to go to the next thing, which is GCD, which is the greatest common divisor. The GCD of 65 and 640. What's the greatest common divisor of those two numbers? All right, 5. All right, more difficult one. But I want to point out, don't get confused. They try to put 3 arguments in. GCD of, let's say, 12, 36, and 64. Watch what happens. Again, you want to experiment too. It says there's an error. I want to point out why there's an error over here. I can do the GCD of 2 numbers. If I want to do 3 numbers, GCD, I'd have to do GCD of the first 2 numbers. It seems strange. There might be a better way of doing this. I'm not sure. 12 and 36. Whoops. And again, it can hurt to play around. So I'll get the GCD there, and then I'm going to put 64. And this 4. All right? So let's keep going. LCM, that's least common multiple. I think you get the idea. Then there's exercises. You're to work through those. As you work through those, some are more difficult than others, but I do provide what I consider to be code for those answers. All right? Thank you for paying attention.